First thing you may notice is he's got equipment on. Slayer does in fact wear armor pieces. They aren't armor per se. They have an armor value to them. They have stats on them just like any other item in the game. But generally speaking, they represent the fact that the hides that he covers his shoulders with offer some level of protection. The runes engraved in his braces and his torque. And just the fact that dwarves are, well, Slayers in particular are tougher than normal dwarves. So I'll just open up the inventory here so people can get a look at this. Generally speaking, the Slayer is a little bit different in terms of inventory pieces. Like the Warrior Priest, his helmet is actually a mantle. This mantle is made up of objects like creatures the Slayers killed in the past. As you can see here, this is kind of like a dragon skin or a troll skin mantle that's engraved. There are some more that are just all skin with like a giant troll head on the side. Other things kind of interest to note, instead of shoulder pads, they have cords and armbands. Boots and gloves. Obviously, most of the gloves are bracers. Boots are heavy shod, steel toe boots, good for kicking in heat. Many of you notice I've got two hand weapons here. Slayers do dual wield. They also have the option of using a great weapon as well. Depending on which weapon you use, obviously different abilities and different skills kind of have bonuses. Alright, so going into a little bit more detail about the career and how it works, what you see here is a very early version of the interface for the Berserk meter. We got a couple other revisions at the office, we haven't put them in yet. The whole concept behind the Slayer and the Choppa are pretty straightforward fighters. They go into Berserk the minute they come in contact with somebody and they start a fight. As you can see, the meter builds up very, very fast. What will usually happen at this point is players are represented with two play styles. First of all, they can go full out Berserk, which is what I'm in right now, where my damage goes up significantly and my defenses go down. Keep in mind on this demo character, the damage values on the abilities are low, specifically so I can talk and play at the same time. So any of you that play the game and go, level 40 Slayer is only doing 100 damage, that's crappy. Just keep in mind I've dropped down the damage on everything on purpose, that way we can go ahead and demo without going through too many things. So, obviously, pretty straightforward how the mechanic builds up. There are two types of rage. The first is the first part of the meter, which is what we call Furious Rage, and then the second part of the meter is Berserk Rage. When a character is in Furious Rage, they get a number of special abilities, things like No Escape or Wild Swing. As you notice, you'll see it resets my meter. Basically what happens is, while you're in Furious, these abilities get bonus damage up and beyond the Berserk meter. But it's only while you're in Furious. It's only while you have some semblance of control. So players that want to do big damage and big hits will basically take their meter and reset it over and over and over again. However, a player who kind of just wants to go all out is going to let that meter go all the way to the red line, at which point it's going to give lots and lots of damage, but you're going to start taking a penalty. When you're red line, you don't have any really special abilities that are unlocked, but every single ability that you do have gets bonus damage. So we'll just go through and fire off a couple things so people can see.
Whoa, did that hit all of them?
So, what I'm using right here is an ability called Retribution. Retribution is kind of one of the abilities that allow the Slayer to kind of be what we call a line buster unit. What happens is when you turn on Retribution, which I'll do so in a second again, everything that's attacking you will take damage back. So you can see every time they swing, they take damage back. This is ultra useful when you're the first guy into the mix, or when somebody's focusing firing on you. So instead of maybe hitting them, you just turn this on instead and try and convince them to either move away or they die. Fire off a couple, play a couple more abilities.
Wow.
We'll see.
Haha. It's not a no, Kenny. Yeah. I'm talking about a speed off and work.
So, one other thing about the Slayer is the fact that just like every other class, we've got 3 mastery lines. The Slayer is Slayer and the Chopper both are primarily used for offense, straight up offense. They're not heavy in crowd control. They don't have a lot of crowd control ability. They don't have a lot of knockdowns. They don't have a lot of knockbacks. They don't have a lot of stuns. They have one or two scattered amongst the mastery lines, but it's not what they do. What they do is damage, damage, and more damage. So I'm going to pull open the paths here. So basically, the three paths of the Slayer are path of the Giant Slayer. The Giant Slayer is mostly focused around Great Weapon path. It focuses about building up the Fury and spending it for large hits. So somebody that's playing as a Giant Slayer is going to have a great weapon and probably, let their meter build up, use it for high big hits, use it for high big hits, use it for high big hits. Path of the Troll Slayer is kind of a mixed line. It has both big hit or finishers, as we put it, and regular attacks. Players that use that line will kind of have a mix. There'll be situations where they want to do big hits, but they might start to fight off reserve and then finish it with big hits. The final path is the path of the Skaven Slayer. The Skaven Slayer path is the AoE line path. It's also the dual wield path. Basically, so you have multiple actions, you can reach out in all directions and swipe at people. Now, there's a key difference between the AoE on these classes and other classes like the Marauder or the White Lion. Basically what happens here is they do a lot more damage. The way that we get away with allowing them to do a lot more damage is the simple fact that they can attack the thing in front of them. Obviously, they're going to hit it every single time, do a lot of high damage. However, they have random chances to hit other targets around them. So we don't have to reduce the damage as much because it's an AoE, because it's a random chance of hitting. What that allows the Slayer and the Chopper to do is kind of flail about wildly, do high spike damage to various people that makes it a lot harder for healers to keep up with. It's not impossible. You've got to be on your game, because 1 minute somebody will be taking heavy damage, the next minute he might not get hit for 2 or 3 swings. That's pretty much the Slayer. Now, an important thing to note, I'm just going to show 1 or 2 things. We have been working with GW to make sure that it's IP specific and the abilities are. So you'll see things like Doomseeker. Yeah. I'll do that 1 more time so everybody can see it. Now, once again, that's not a guaranteed knockdown, it's a random chance. It is high damage, though. So let's finish that guy off. Let's go ahead and pull up the Chopper.